Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of Max and Katie Build Cars, and today's episode's super exciting because we're taking our Mini to the body shop. In order to get it fully ready for the body shop, one thing that we just need to do is remove the windscreen. The rear window they're happy to deal with. We need to do this one though, so all we've done is there's a bead of rubber that goes around the edge. You can see the gap there, which the rubber just sits in and traps the window in. So we just removed that bead, and now it's just a case of gently prising the window out. And we're going to prise it along the top, all the way across, and then should be able to just lift it out. And this is Xander. He's giving us a hand today. Katie's brother, come all the way from Penang, Malaysia, just to push out the windscreen of a Mini. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's start here and keep pushing it back out. Yeah.
Watch the bottom because it's coming out.
Yep, I got it. Right, push more on that side. There we go. Yeah, boy. That's one windscreen out. Right, to be fair, out of all the things that have usually gone wrong with this Mini, that was actually one of the easier jobs that we took on. But even more of the headlining. This is the headlining around the pillar, and you glue it down onto the pillar. That's the last of that god awful headlining out of this car. Now she's ready to go to the body shop, so when the tow truck arrives, let's get her loaded up, let's get her off. How exciting! It has been a lot of work to get to this stage, but I must admit it's been definitely worth it, and we've enjoyed every single second of it, and apparently so have you guys. With that being said, and the car now on its way to the body shop, I decided to treat me and the guys with a little day out to go see some really cool cars. Now back home, and after that little treat, it's time to start some of the restoration work for this Mini. One of the best ways to keep the Mini in budget is basically to try and reuse as many old parts as we possibly can. And thankfully for us, the top arms and the bottom arms of our Mini were actually in pretty good condition. So what I'm going to attempt to do is to restore all the bits that I possibly can. I'm going to try and show you how you can also do it at home using pretty basic stuff in order to clean up parts to get them in pretty good condition, ready to go back on the car. Which is great if you are trying to stick to a budget, just like we are with this Mini. Now if you have the extra cash and you can go to the expense, the best way to do this is always to get them sandblasted and then powder coated. I think in my opinion is definitely the best way to restore all parts. However, I am determined to show you that it is possible that you can restore all parts by just using pretty basic stuff. So to start with, I'm going to clean these top arms by just using a bit of hot soapy water. Now the top arms are clean and dry, what I'm going to do is take some aerosol paint remover and just cover it all over the top and bottom of these arms. That's going to help to remove all of the old paint, grime and grubbiness from years and years of use. Once it's been left for a little while, the paint does start bubbling up, and so does all of the grime and rubbish. Now there are a few techniques you can use then to remove all the paint off of the top arms. What I'm doing here is using a little wire brush drill bit that are relatively inexpensive and you can get from most DIY shops or mechanic shops. And I'm just going all over the surfaces of the top arms, basically removing as much of the old, nasty, grubby, horrible paint as possible. To help you can also use a bit of sandpaper, or again if you've got the right stuff, you can simply sandblast a lot of this away. Personally I found just to make it nice and easy, using a wire brush on the end of a drill actually makes the process much faster, and you can get different sized brushes to get in all the little nooks and crannies. Once you come up with the right technique, or a technique that works for you, it's then just a case of persevering until you get every last little bit all cleaned up, nice and ready for respray. For me the best way was to move onto the workbench, just to have the vise to provide a bit of extra grip, meaning that I could really get in there and get the last little bits, and I think you'll agree that the end result was pretty good. With that done, it's just a question of getting it primed and painted. Now the type of paint that I'm using is actually called Rust-Oleum, which is an American product. I'll leave a link down in the description below so you can see which kind of paint that I mean. But this paint that I'm using is actually primer and paint all in one can. This kind of paint also helps to prevent future build-up of corrosion and rust. After a few coats of paint, I think you can agree that the overall finish was actually pretty good. Alright, so now we've got the bottom arms pretty much done. All of these are pretty cleaned up, really nice. We've got the new bearings inside already. They're just finished now. They're ready to go back onto the front subframe once it arrives from the UK. The only thing I need to change on these are the bleed nipples. They're all perished and everything, so I just sprayed over them. Once they come from the UK, I'm going to take these out, put new ones in. And then jobs are good on those. So they're done. Next job, bottom arms. You see this side is actually pretty good, so to be honest I'm just going to clean it and then give it a little spray of black paint just to make it look pretty. But overall, that's pretty good. Problem child, the one that's a bit of an issue is the one that is still attached to this hub. And basically, this ball joint here will not let me remove it. Tried everything so far, but we're going to keep persevering. I'm going to try to put some heat on this. I'm going to try and get this ball splitter, see if we can get it in there and get it on. If not, I'm going to go back to the trusty hammer and try to basically get that in there, smack it clear and hope for the best. So let's get some heat on it first and see how that goes. So using a propane torch that I actually normally use just to light the barbecue, I'm just applying heat to the bottom arm right at the place where it attaches to the ball joint. First time, I'll take it. I'll take the wins when they come. Is that sorted? So I'm going to move this hub out of the way now. This to go back on the front eventually. All these are going to get cleaned up and everything else. That's going to be another episode for now. We're super happy with that. Hey! I'll take the wins when they come, definitely. Let's get these cleaned up. So just to give you an idea of the comparison, the ones that, everything we took off the left side of the subframe pretty much came up with just really bad. Everything on the right side of the subframe, really good. So for some reason, the general story of our Mini is anything that was on the left was perished and needs replacing and ruined. Everything that was on the right, perfect. Pretty much just clean it up, put it back on. So we've been lucky to sort of, in terms of budget, save a bit of money because at least the right hand side of the car is alright. But you know, everything on the left hand side of the car, you can just tell in the difference between these lower arms how, you know, one side is really good, one side's really bad. That, to be fair, is definitely not the worst we've seen. So I am just going to go to the effort of cleaning this up and then giving it a respray. This one, again, I'm not even probably going to clean it up that much. Probably just literally give it a bubble bath. Give it maybe a little bit of sanding just on this side. Respray. These will be good to go back on the car. Let's crack on. So initially all I'm doing is taking a wire brush just to get off the excess dirt and grime. After that it's actually just following the exact same techniques that we applied to the top arms. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this one red, this one black, and then in the comments you're going to let me know which one's better, and then the rest of the car is going to go the same. Or we'll just spray whichever one's like. These are black. They're pretty cool in black. If we like one of these in red, we're going to do the whole lot in red, or we just keep it black. So let me know in the comments which one you prefer. But now, this is literally just paint remover. I'm going to spray all of this to make my life a little bit easier. Scrape it off with the wire brush, let it dry, and then it's ready for paint. Let's go. This one, again, just going to clean up the end here a bit, and then it's pretty much just ready for a respray as well. Let's get it. Again, using the exact same technique as we did for the top arms, and spraying it with the aerosol paint remover, then giving it a decent scrape, and once it's all cleaned up, they should be ready for paint. This side is pretty much the good side. What I'm going to do is I've just got a file, metal file, I'm just going to file. Basically this is where somebody's bashed it to try and break the pin. Probably me, to be fair. I'm just going to file this down so it's nice and smooth when it goes back on the car. That doesn't cause any infringement to the road or anything. There are obviously many techniques and easy ways to try and restore all classic car parts, or any car parts for that matter. I'm not saying for 1 second this is exactly how you should do it, but this is how you do it when you're in a position like I am, where you're working on a budget, you don't have access to all the most amazing tools in the world, and you're not scared of using a bit of elbow grease to get the job done. Using something like a Dremel, or even better if you have something that can spray sand at all classic car parts, you'll probably definitely get better results. However, for everything that we're trying to achieve with this Mini, and the fact that this is more of a tutorial how you can do it with basic tools, I'm really over the moon with the results that we achieve with these parts. But let me know in the comment section below any tips, tricks or hacks, or things that you'd have done differently if you were restoring these old parts. The bottom arms are pretty much cleaned up and done, so it's just a case of respraying with that amazing magical paint. I gave them a couple coats each and then left them to dry in the sunshine. With the respray done and the bottom arms pretty much thereabouts, it's time for you guys to get in the comments and let us know which one you prefer, red or black. Alright, with the top arms and the bottom arms done, it's now just the last thing for today, which is the steering column. Again, we're pretty lucky, it looks pretty good, it's in pretty good condition. A little bit of rust spots here and there, but nothing too significant. Again, it's just be a case of clean it up, make it look nice and shiny, and it should be ready to go back on the car. Now, because I believe that this steering column has been in the car since it first began its life, this thing was absolutely covered in all sorts of grime and rust spots. So to start with, in order to clean it up, I did use some brake cleaner and some parts cleaner just to get the thick of the grime off. Once the grime was off and I cleaned up the rest of the shaft, I then managed to get it on its side and start with the wire brush, just going up and down, finding every last little rust spot that I could find and making sure I was scraping it all the way back to bare metal. Scraping it back to bare metal in hopes that that will cure and kill any further rust spots from growing. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, the blue towel is simply there just to make sure that we don't ruin the steering wheel in the process. Yes, it probably would have been a good idea to remove the steering wheel, but I simply couldn't be bothered. And yes, it's repetitive, but I hope that proves how effective that this technique is. It's a case of clean it up, scrape it down, sand it clean, and then give it a good respray with the top quality paint. Or if you don't have the top quality paint, make sure you primer it and paint it, and the end result tends to be pretty good. And it's exactly what you're seeing me do with this steering column. I'm using the wire brush to get most of the big bits of rust patches off, then using the sanding pad just to smooth over the little bits of paint on the edges so we get a nice smooth finish once it's dry. Bit of parts cleaner to clean up all the dust and the grime, and then she's ready for paint. A little bit of towel just over the end of the steering wheel so that doesn't get covered. That's going to give me a bit of easy access as well. Get some more of this fantastic Rust-Oleum paint. Start from the bottom, or maybe from the bottom up, working my way around. Get all this sprayed up nicely. I'm not too worried about this. This is to be replaced. Again, it's only on there because it's covering up the bearings at the top there and the greasy bits. So that'll protect all that. And then so I know where the location of the wires are going, but eventually this will get replaced. So not too worried. Just got a thumb under there so I don't paint on the inside. This isn't actually an ad for the Rust-Oleum Paint, by the way. This is just the paint that I had access to at my local DIY shop, but to be honest, it's been absolutely fantastic. I'm sure there are many products that are equally as good. This is just the one that's worked best for us. But if you are interested in using the same one that we are, I'll leave you a link in the description box below. There you have it, job done. I'm gonna wheel this table into the sunshine over there, allow this thing to dry, all ready to go back on the car. Excellent. Really happy with that. This will probably need a second coat, which I will do. But apart from that, overall, super duper happy. So after a couple coats, the overall finish of the steering column, I think is actually really good. Let me know in the comment section what you'd do differently. So guys, we have some absolutely fantastic news just in the process of filming this video. Guess what just arrived? Our new old subframe is finally here. This is the correct one for our Mini as well. And the pretty cool thing is it does have the fittings for the hydroplastic suspension. That's not what we're going to be doing with ours, but it will fit everything else. So there's another job for me to do. Just clean that up a little bit, won't need much. But that is the new subframe ready for the Mini to finally go on. There's going to be plenty of videos of me upgrading parts to make it look nicer because there are so many parts to do. But for now, I want to say a huge thank you. Like, subscribe, let me know in the comment section if there's something I'm doing wrong, if there's anything you would do different. But overall, I'm super happy with those 3 bits that we've managed to get restored, and we'll be going back on the front subframe now, so really excited. Like, it's hard to put into words how excited I am, because once this Mini is back from the body shop, we really will be in the process of putting this car back together. So with all that done, make sure you subscribe, because in the next episode we are going to be pulling apart the second part of the Mini engine. I'm so excited, I can't wait to see what's going on in there. But for now, make sure you subscribe, make sure you don't miss another episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.